Hello and welcome to Madeleine at the Movies, the Golden Days film review segment, designed to make you feel a little more informed when it comes to choosing what to watch next. I'm Madeleine Swain. One of the great pleasures of doing this segment is when it affords me the opportunity to throw a little spotlight on the unsung heroines, those quiet little films that slip into our cinemas and slip back out again without too much fanfare, even when they perhaps really deserve a bit more love. For me, H is for Hawk would come into this category. It's a film in which Claire Foy, perhaps still best known for playing the Queen in The Crown, becomes the keeper of a bird of prey. It's a bit of a Kes for grown-ups, if you like. Of course, the point we should remember is just how good Kes was, a pivotal 60s classic that, after Poor Cow a couple of years before, really announced the astonishing talents of Ken Loach to the world and set him on the path to a long and stellar career making films about social justice, compassion, and humanism. He's 90 this month, by the way, and after 2023's The Old Oak, finally retired, I believe. But I don't think he compromised those ideals and ethics once in all his years behind the camera. I'd ask if H for Hawk could do similar things for its director, Philippa Lowthorpe, but she's already a double BAFTA winner and is known for such TV series as Call the Midwife, Three Girls, and The Crown, but not the same season as Claire Foy. She also has a few films under her belt, notably Swallows and Amazons from 2016 and 2003's The Other Berlin Girl. H for Hawk is actually quite a woman-centred project, with Lowthorpe co-writing the screenplay with Emma Donoghue, adapting Helen Macdonald's original memoir. The film revolves around a Cambridge academic who is shaken to the core by the sudden early death of her beloved father, a news photographer called Alistair MacDonald. Consumed by grief, she channels her feelings into an activity that reminds her of her father, rearing a bird of prey she names Mabel. The film is a gentle exploration of grief and its effects, and how it can completely isolate and untether someone. And it tells this tale really well, showing rather than telling, as Helen becomes more and more adrift from human company, but closer and closer to the wild creature sharing her home. But what I really liked about H for Hawk is that the narrative is just one of its strong elements. One of the most fascinating things is that we're watching two strands unfold at the same time. Just as Helen has to learn how to handle the goshawk and build trust with it, so too does the actor playing her. There were 5 different birds used to play Mabel, apparently, but goshawks are notoriously challenging birds to work with, and even though there were professional handlers on set, Foy had to get really up close and personal with the hawks throughout. No AI or CGI here. And she really pulls it off. It's a deeply felt and affecting performance, enhanced in the flashback scenes with Brendan Gleeson as her father, and also in the contemporary scenes when she's opposite another dependable veteran, Lindsay Duncan, as her mother. Or Denise Gough as Christina, the sort of loyal friend that anyone going through grief and depression would need. She's a woman who keeps knocking at the door and looking out for Helen, even when she's being deliberately shut out. The other lovely aspect is the true story behind the film. Helen Macdonald really was knocked sideways by her father's death, and he really was, it appears, a wonderful man and a very highly respected news photographer. It's only later in the piece, when we start seeing a range of very familiar celebrity shots, that we realise this is the man who took those photographs. And we also realise that some of the earlier family images are of the real people at the heart of the story. It should be said that some viewers have found the film a bit too slow and Helen too prickly to empathise with. But perhaps those are people who have either never suffered the pain of unexpected bereavement, or they have, but they're still processing it themselves and don't want to be reminded of just how destabilising it can be. I found it one of those films that slowly gets under your skin. Its meditations on love, grief, death, nature, and the circle of life are simple but profound. The performances from both human and avian stars are terrific, and Charlotte Brewer Christensen's cinematography is stunning. I even enjoyed the various appearances of the shadows on the soundtrack, a nice touch whenever Helen is driving her father's car. H for Hawk is rated M, runs for 120 minutes, and is screening in selected cinemas now. As is The Christophers, a new art forgery comic drama directed by Steven Soderbergh and written by Ed Solomon. The film stars Michaela Cole, as tightly wound and hard to read as her character is in Mother Mary. Here she plays Laurie, a talented artist who has been burned by a formative experience and is now making a living working in a food truck and as a part-time art restorer. An old art school friend and her brother, Jessica Gunning and James Corden, approached Laurie with a sneaky scheme to finish some old artwork started long ago by their famous father, hoping to cash in after his death. Of course, the best, albeit nefarious, plans of mice and men are always going to go astray when you have an adversary as wily and bloody-minded as Ian McKellen in the opposite corner. To be honest, the twists and turns aren't quite as compelling as they might be, but at 87, McKellen is as vibrant and charismatic as ever, and we should simply never waste an opportunity to see him in full flight while we still can. The Christophers runs for 101 minutes, is rated MA, and as mentioned is screening in selected cinemas now. And just before I go, a quick word about Backrooms, a much talked about film debut based on a YouTube series by its creator Kane Parsons. With touches of Stranger Things in its plot device of a secret mirror-like world coexisting alongside the real one, Backrooms is a psychological horror with moments of actual gore. Unsettling and cleverly designed, the film uses 30,000 square feet of maze-like sets, which are confusing and disturbing for the audience, let alone the actors inhabiting them. Chiefly, Chiwetel Ejiofor as a deeply unfulfilled furniture salesman with no customers, and Renata Reinsve as his therapist, who has a traumatic backstory of her own informing her actions. There's a really inventive directorial mind at work here, but the results won't be for everyone, and it can be pretty scary at times. What I don't understand, though, is that the film is only rated M, and there are scenes of a huge puppet-like pirate creature literally biting chunks out of one of the human characters, while the Christophers is rated MA, apparently for bad language. Sometimes the rating system really has me scratching my head. Anyway, Backrooms is rated M, runs for 111 minutes, and is screening in general release now. And remember that after over 700 episodes of Madeleine at the Movies, we now have a website where you can catch the reviews in either spoken or written form in case you missed them here or wanted to refer back. It's easy to find at MATM, Madeleine at the Movies, matm.com.au. And that's all from me for this time. Madeleine at the Movies was produced and edited by Blair Purvis. Stay safe and well, and thanks for listening.